Welcome to Master the Game. I'm Juice. This is Paula. She is dreaming of me every night. And we are talking about dreams on this RPG Day 2019. So let's get started. All right, so today's topic is dream, or our motivational, inspirational word is dream. Now, I know I'm a dream to you, but today I want to talk about using dreams in your games. So I'm in the process right now of reviewing a product called Ancestral Weapons, and I even wrote in my blog post, which should be posted by now, it might not be, but I wrote about how you can incorporate the ancestors of these ancestral weapons and communicating in the dreams about when they earn their spirit points. Because it's got a mechanic where you earn spirit points and you can then use the spirit points to buy, they're called upgrades, but they're basically abilities.
Okay.
So for example, one of the abilities is like enhanced weapon, and it allows you a +1 to hit and a +1 to damage with that ancestral weapon. So anyways, and I don't know how many points it costs, but certain abilities cost more than others. Some you can't, they have prerequisites. They're also organized based on tier. So 1st through 5th level is like tier 1, so on and so forth. And in the PDF product by the High Rollers or Dungeon Rollers, I'll post a link below to their to this product. But in the actual description of how players are supposed to find out about their weapon earning spirit points, it just says that the weapon starts to glow and slightly hum and vibrate. And I was like, I kind of wish they threw out possible suggestions and listed a couple ideas.
Oh, like here's a couple different ways you could do it. Like
yeah.
You could do it this
rather
way,
than just
this. Way, or this way.
Yeah.
Like people have...
Because I got ideas. I was like, well, rather than it glowing and letting everybody know that it just gained a new point that they may or may not use to buy an ability, let's just have it happen in a dream where they have a discussion with their ancestors. Because the idea of these weapons is they're supposed to be thematic. So if your ancestors were greedy, for example, you might choose things that kind of go along that path.
What if you had a dream where your ancestors were like, you're just like third party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like your ancestors are potentially like using the weapon, or you're watching like your ancestors
like a
act
flashback
in a certain way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like
could do that too.
You're seeing them act a certain way, but maybe then when you wake up, you could incorporate that like glowing humming, where it's like, oh, so say it was a sword, and it's like right next to you, and right as you wake up, you sort of like see this light fade from the sword. Really quick, right?
Well, and speaking of which, there's
or something like that.
There's this really cool ability that's considered just a personality trait of a weapon, and there's small charts. It's like D20 or D10 through like personality traits and stuff. So one of them is that the ancestors always have a pursuit of knowledge. And so if you sleep with your weapon attuned to you, and you have a book with your hand on it, you sleep, but when you wake up, you've basically read that whole book.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of cool. And, I mean, that's kind of powerful if you're like a wizard or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there's some cool things in this PDF
like
that add a lot of flavor and stuff. But the idea is that only ancestors can use this weapon.
That's cool.
In the hands of anybody else that's not bloodline, it doesn't work. It's a mundane item, no matter what. And like there's some other things that I was like playing with the idea of, in order for an ancestor to, or for you to get the weapon, you either have to have found it after many years, and the ancestors have to like accept you, or it has to be gifted to you from someone who is attuned to it.
Oh.
So you can't take like your father's attuned weapon,
right,
and all of a sudden it works for you, no matter what.
That makes sense.
It has to be given to you, or basically he's passed on or something.
Right.
And there's like some stuff in there about like, you know, how many generations have had it, and how many cool stories are associated with it based on the number of generations, and what are they? And it gives you like there's some cool stuff. But my blog post will be up in the link below. I'm going to do a video review as well this week. It's going to be, it's cool. I really recommend this product. And I think it could have had more in it, but it's still pretty good. And it's pretty cheap. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I don't remember how much it is, but yeah.
Good value.
So yeah, and I would incorporate a lot with dreams. Because here's the other thing. If you do things that your ancestors wouldn't approve of, or you dishonor them, then it also becomes mundane.
Oh, so then they can take it back.
Yeah, so if your family was lawful evil and you are doing good, it might decide to not work anymore. Or if your family was good and you kill innocent people, or if your family were gamblers and you decide, no, I will never gamble and play it safe, maybe it stops working until you do it. You could go a lot of ways with it, but it's up to the DM on that.
I like it. That sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. So we'll use it in our games probably. I'll put it as an option for us. So what about you? What do you got for Dream?
Okay, so Dream made me think of clouds, right?
Obscuring mist.
Yeah. Whatever. I can't believe that you were that's not a spell. And I'm it is.
I said I believed you. I didn't argue at all.
Shit up.
I didn't argue with it at all. I said it's fine. All
You're
has to.
I've never heard of that.
You weren't even going anywhere with Obscuring Mist. You took it to vision anyway.
Anyway.
I mean, I know it has to do with the spell, but...
So, what I was thinking, and maybe this is more a question for you, because I haven't done this before, but have you ever ran a game that's on a different plane? Or transported characters to a different plane? I've always kind of wanted...
I've played in one.
And been, interested in, I would love to play and just, move to a different plane or have some sort of, reference there. I've played a character before. I think that was, maybe from a different plane. Mm-hmm. Or something like that. With, an interesting backstory. But I've never actually played the game in a different plane. But it kind of makes me think of, Dream, an astral plane, right?
I've played a few.
Astral projection or something
I've done,
like that.
So I want to say Dave did this from Nerdarchy, where we played, I want to say he called it the Maze of, maybe it's a different one, but Maze of Mandoon. We went into this cave because there was a crazy storm, and then somehow, and I might be mixing up a couple games because we played a few games together, but then we ended up in this Minotaur maze on another plane where you're in hedges. So you're I'm going to jump over the hedge. And we tested kind of with our coin in our other game.
Yeah.
What happens if you throw something over the hedge? And a vine comes out and spears through it and impales it, crazy shit. Or grabs it and slams it down or something. So we were never mind that. So we did that, but I played in a Githyanki game, where it was kind of more of anyone could drop in and play anytime thing, and it was really fun. It was called From the Astral on Andrew Knapp's old channel, SR2 Joker. It's not up anymore, but he had all these games up where different people would play, and we would start in the Astral on a ship usually, or sometimes, mm-hmm. and we all had different roles on the ship, and we would go and try to fight mind flayers, and I remember we were in this place in Forgotten Realms where there was a, what's it called? A cyclone in the ocean or something. I don't know, when the ocean starts to spin and it's pulling you down. Whirlpool. Thank you. So we were in a whirlpool, and I remember, I think one of our I think my character may have died in that one, the first character, because as we're doing this, there's rocks and someone's chasing us, and it was cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then in one of his games too, I did a meat grinder, where the idea is you're going to go through a lot of characters. And when we first started, there were mod drawn and stuff, and clockwork little things, and then there was this, I want to say a solar, a giant angel thing.
Okay.
And we fought him, and then all of a sudden, and the way I remember it and envision it, I feel like I was envisioning it more being in a junkyard, but I don't think it was. That was always my vision of it.
Just making that part up.
Yeah, well, Rust Monster Hydra. Think of a rust monster next to the Hydra. Came up and started chasing us over a bridge and away. Yeah, it was cool though.
Wow.
Yeah, so now I've always wanted to have a statted out rust monster Hydra just randomly in my world. ever since that. But
so do you feel like when you were in these other planes that people running those games did a good job of incorporating monsters that you've always like sort of associated with?
Well, from the Astral, most of our fighting did not happen on the Astral that I played. Okay. There was a couple sessions that did happen on other planes. But I felt like that was fine. Like we fought the Modrons and whatever they're called, all those stuff. So yeah, we got to incorporate some of those monsters.
That's cool.
And that was interesting. The Maze of Mandoon one didn't, I don't know what plane, or we probably just went to a different world. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like we were fighting anything too exotic, I guess, or too crazy.
Okay, because I'm always like,
cool,
I really like exotic monsters, and so I think that sort of goes back to...
Well, that's your encounter design.
Yeah, I know.
You pick the monster and then figure out how to use it.
It's cool to, kind of incorporate the entire thing together, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, but I would love to hear more about people who might have stories where their characters were transported to different planes, and how... how they got there, how they got back, what they did on their way there, what they ran into, that sort of like lore written about it that I have not really dove into. But it is something I'm really interested in kind of like taking a look at, It's
funny we talk about that because remember, so your brother and his wife and stuff have mostly his wife has always had this fear of her character dying. And I've tried to explain her when I run games, death does not have to be final. Mm-hmm. If you really want your character to live, I'm open to the other players having to find out how to go into the 9 places of the stages of hell to redeem your soul. Or I'm totally up for having the players find you, then have to fight their way out of whatever they're in. Yeah, and maybe it starts because your dead cleric over here can communicate as a ghost or something. Like, hey, come save me. I found out I'm still savable. Please come, da-da-da-da, whatever. Mm-hmm. But, that's why I've always said, and that might be more interesting than not dying or, whatever. Than your regular plan for a session.
Yeah, than what you were going to do anyway.
Yeah, just run with it. You guys are in hell now. There's all sorts of crazy shit.
That would be fun.
Everywhere you look, there's souls that look miserable, just floating around like Casper the Ghost. But they don't acknowledge you're here.
You go a lot of different ways with that.
Yeah.
That could be super cool.
Heck yeah.
I like it. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. So, anyways, this has been RPG a Day. I am Juice. This is Paula. Game on.